I can sum up the past 7 years of my life in one sentence. They didn't go as planned. And I've never been more sure of myself, my path, or my purpose. Sometimes life throws us unexpected curveballs. And my curveball was in the form of a rare autoimmune disease. I have dermatomyositis. That means inflammation of skin, derma, and myositis, muscle. Diagnosed in 2008. And once that autoimmune disease took over me, I kind of had to discover what it was that I could still do. And it wasn't until 2010, when I had a flare of my disease, that I really kind of discovered my path. And that's because when I was going through rehab and just not even out of the hospital, I had some obsessive compulsion to get my music out.
Trembled fears and longings of this girl that I once knew. Swore that each and every boy she touched was love, was real. Questioned all her actions, but she started living the dream.
This is Aoede on location in Los Angeles for Affair with the Muse.
I carried it inside, concealed like a secret, but my body was alive. Was sure you could feel it, if only I knew that the ache would stay. If only I knew that I can't go back alone.
I go by the artist name Aoede, and Aoede is kind of an unusual name. It's usually a conversation starter.
We're having some difficulty pronouncing your name. Aoede, am I saying that correct?
Yes. It means song in Greek. And Aoede was the first muse in Greek mythology. And a lot of people know the 9 celebrated muses. Well, she was the precursor to that. And I wanted affiliation with inspiration, to remember to inspire and to be continually inspired.
You're Aoede. It's a name that nobody can pronounce. They go, what? Who? Aoede?
I consider myself a quirky folk pop artist, and also somebody who creates fantasy musicals on audiobooks and then adapts them to musical theater. Part of this time when I had the worst, I guess, of my disease is I was in denial. And like a lot of us going through those stages, almost the stages of grief, I didn't accept that I was sick. And so I kept doing things. Even though I wasn't working, I kept pushing myself. I was taking gigs. I even went on a cruise with my parents and my family. I went to Nashville to do a showcase. So all of these things were happening while I was on immunosuppressives, and I kept going and going and going. And I didn't understand that if I kept that pace, that something could happen. And
You know, I think the cats hit the town. Meow. I won't keep your eyes open as
I had a flare of my disease that happened very quickly. One day I was walking around the block and had really strange energy, so I thought I would actually just walk it off. And when I came back, I couldn't move, and I had slurred speech, so I didn't know what I was going through. I completely collapsed. And so at that point, when I went to the hospital, I was there for 12 days, and then 12 days in the rehab hospital, so 24 total days, because I could not move my muscles. And my disease is one of progressive muscle weakness. When I got out of the hospital, my ideal was going to be that I'd walk out of that hospital. But the reality was I was in a wheelchair, and my incredible partner and husband had created a ramp, had built it at the house, and I knew that I didn't have the energy. I could barely hold a guitar. And in rehab, part of my rehab was to learn to sing and play again, because that's what I had desperately wanted. So even as early as 2 months getting out of that hospital, I was searching for PR. I was looking for somebody to redo a website. I was learning the ukulele, and I was trying to film a music video. All of the stuff I was doing from bed or from home. And I didn't understand that my story was going through this disease and using arts and music as a healing path. And that was huge for me. I remember at one point, I had a cranial sacral therapist come over. I said, am I doing this of the wrong thing by putting so much energy on the music and the art? Is that energy I should be putting on healing? And she instantly, she didn't even let me finish my sentence, and said, music and art are healing.
I think that's probably a big part of the reward and why she works so hard, is because it is very healing, both for her and for the people who are on the receiving end.
Do you see me? Can you paint a picture for me? Picture perfect blue sky, sunny day. Paint the trees, apple green. Make me believe these leaves are real, green leaves are falling. One perfect day.
I learned about the Myositis Association, and they were very interested in my story and asked me to come tell my story and perform at the Myositis Association conference. This was 1 year after I had gotten out of the hospital. And I learned that there were kids that were affected by this disease, and that there was something called Cure-JM, juvenile myositis. It's the kid version of the same disease that I have. I wanted to get back. As early as I possibly could, I wanted to get back. And so that's why I sought out Cure-JM. I wanted to show the kids that just because their body was undergoing this crazy turmoil, it didn't mean that they had to give up their dreams.
So at the Cure-JM National Conference in San Jose last year, Lisa led a group of about 35 kids who are all battling JM into a song and music session where the kids got to just feel like the star of the show. They jumped up on stage, they sang these amazing songs that Lisa had written about how to be a superhero, and it was a great experience because kids loved to be on stage, they loved to do something fun like this, and Lisa made it amazing.
And one of the moms sent me a note saying what I was doing was giving her hope for her kids. And that was really encouraging and inspiring to me, to know that I'm helping to inspire kids and their moms.
I think it's really good for the kids, and especially the teens and tweens, to have a role model like Lisa. She's someone that goes out and follows her dreams and follows her passion, and she doesn't let something like a little hurdle or a disease or a diagnosis get in her way. She just goes out, she makes it happen, she fights every day for what she wants and her dreams, and it's really good for the kids to see that. And they love to see her out having fun, see her up on stage, and it's just a great experience. We love having her as part of the group.
So here we are at the Cure-JM Festival.
If you dream it and imagine it and work for it, you can make it come true, you guys.
And this Thursday, I found out that I'm in remission. So.
When life is hurling lemons at you, when you're so tired, you can't get yourself out of bed, whatever life throws at you, you've got to pick yourself up and do what you can with what you've got. You've got to do what you can with what you got. You've got to move to the groove what you got. You've got to go, just take it slow and do what you can with what you got.
Cure-JM is creating miracles. There isn't a cure yet for juvenile myositis, but this organization is in the top 1% of nonprofits raising monies in order to find cures for their kids. They are tenacious, they are warm-hearted, I mean, they're family. And if you imagine your own kid or your own sister or brother going through something like this, you'd want to do everything you possibly can. You can't take it away from them. And the next possible thing you can do is help find a cure. So I think donating to a cause like this, where you know the money is going to actually be spent on something that can help kids in the future, I can't think of something better to spend my money on.
She inspires the kids. The music, the hope, the love of life that she has just gives these kids something that they can look forward to. The way that Lisa follows her dreams gives us an example of we're not going to let something stop us, a diagnosis, a disease. We're going to follow our dreams. We've got a good example like Lisa of how we can do that, and we're just thrilled to have her as part of Cure JM.
You can see how it's just had such a healing effect, that being suddenly confined to a wheelchair and not having the mobility, something that we all expect is just normal for us, and to have that taken away and yet have an outlet that can bring it all back to her is just wonderful to watch.
I would not be where I am today if it were not for my partner, my love, my support, the person who believes most in me, which is Dave.
50 things I've longed to tell you, 50 perfect little truths, 50 things I fell in love with you.
We're doing it together, and if I can help in any way I can, I will.
He is a rock, he's a pillar, he's my source of strength.
She's my rock, and if I can help her roll, then we can rock and roll together.
He took me to every event in LA, every award. We didn't talk about any of that. In this time, from the time 2012 through now, I have received over 35 awards for songwriting, audiobooks, stage plays, and music videos. And every single time, he was right by my side. And, you know, cheering me on and being a support system.
Actually, I'm very proud of Lisa. It's remarkable that somebody who hasn't had a lot of background in the performing arts just had a notion that she could do it, and then did it, and then improved some more, and started working with professional people, and ended up winning all kinds of awards and getting lots and lots of notoriety.
So the other source of unconditional support were my parents. While my dad had to stay home in Arizona and take care of my 90-some-year-old grandmother, who was also in the hospital at the same time, my mom came out. And from the day that I went into the hospital, she was there, and she wouldn't leave my side. And after I was out of the hospital, she was here, and she wouldn't leave my side. Unable to do live shows for several years due to energy, stamina, treatments, and muscle weakness, I began focusing on writing, recording at home, and licensing my music for film and TV. I started writing musicals that I recorded on audiobooks in 2012 as a way to keep my songwriter's dream alive and to connect my brand of bright, quirky folk pop with young adults. What I found is I've been enjoying stepping out of my comfort zone as an artist, and I grow when I do that. In 2012, when I was putting out an album, we had an unusual release party, and it was a multimedia affair, and I dressed up as a fairy princess, and we released Fairy Tale Love.
What if the prince never kissed Beauty's lips? She might still be sleeping all alone. Oh, 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 give me fairy tale love. Oh, 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 'cause it's what I'm dreaming of. Oh, oh, and a prince to call my own. Oh, oh.
The album I had just released, Skeletons of the Muse, I found that there was a theme of relationships and love. And I took that theme and I put my protagonist, Aoede the Muse, in the center of it. And I invented a magical kingdom called Wonder Haven for her to play around in. And I asked the question, is love a fairy tale? And I had her meet curious characters along the way who each told her something about love.
A pink sky with dabs of snowy white and a warm sun that glows and spills the light. Just close your eyes. improvise and make it up as you go. As you go.
So I'm always looking for artists who are looking to discover something new, to go somewhere new and help facilitate that. And it's got to be something that's new to me too.
I loved this whole world, creating a world, getting people to do dialogue and voiceovers, working with my producer on collaboration of all sorts on the music. It was so much fun. So I said, I want to continue the adventures. And the next year, we ended up doing something called What Are Dreams Made Of? And that I wrote from the ground up. I wrote the music and the script together. And so that process was much more theatrical. And in fact, when we finished, that's what some of the comments were from a lot of the people who heard it, is, I can see this. It's like a Broadway musical. And so I got inspired to adapt it to theater. And I ended up creating a whole, besides just the audiobook, we ended up creating a stage play. And I had my first staged reading in 2014 and had 6th through 12th graders act out the parts. And though it wasn't in costume, we rehearsed for about 10 weeks, so it was a real production.
It is the evening of December 26th in the magical kingdom of Wonderhaven.
What's a dream? Is it a whispered wish? Wish your heart beats.
What's a dream? Is it a twisty trip? Trip your mind takes.
And is it a window to see? What's to come when you
Don't mock this up. Greetings, Miss. You must be Aoede. I'm Aoede. Do you have a dream that needs some interpretation or investigation, or did you bring your own dreams that you want us to bring to life? I really should have gone through all this at reception. I have no idea what you're talking about.
And so I got inspired again to write, and the next one was called Do You Believe in Magic? I wanted to revisit Aoede's adventures in Wonderhaven, and this time the story revolves around that the magical kingdom of Wonderhaven is under a malicious curse, and magic is dissipating. And Aoede the Muse thinks she has no use nor magic, but she's the only one who can save the kingdom. So I produced a staged reading using the cast from this musical, and in May of 2015 in San Francisco, we put on a reading.
Kingdom's in a frenzy, the kingdom's in a veil. We think we should do something before the kingdom fails. Unthinkable, unthinkable. The unthinkable has happened. Wonderhaven's gonna fall. Unthinkable.
You've got to bring on actors and how to channel them and direct them. Lisa's very adept at that. Really great about that. She has such a strong vision of her projects.
She got me to access creativity that I didn't know was there.
Who just touched me? Was it you, Lamia? My eyes! I can't see anything! I told you we were going down!
It'll definitely help me be more confident in the future.
She was really clear in being able to guide people. I felt really well instructed in working with a pretty complicated character. My character has 3 heads.
A woman figure, Hecate, materializes with 3 heads, a dog, a serpent, and a horse, each facing a different direction.
Would I break this wretched curse? If not bound to the underworld, something's gone horribly wrong. Something's gone horribly wrong.
She laughs, but she's serious.
We were exploring ways of how to ensure that listeners know that these are still all the same characters speaking, even though there's 3 very different facets of that. And so being able to explore that with her in a way that was very concrete and yet still allowed a nurturing of the creative process was something that, while complex, actually happened quite fluidly.
I'm not dark enough, and evil no longer
She is focused, and she is really fun to be with.
So that's been something I haven't done before, and I don't even really think I know anybody who does it quite the way we do it.
I have no views, I'm just a muse. Awaken calls inside your soul.
Watchword! Watchword! Ouch! Stop that! Put me down. Can't you hear? I said watchword. He calls me fickle. She calls me freak. Can't seem to fit in my own skin.
I know you are sworn never to leave the underworld again, but you swore to me too. This magic is disappearing.
Something's gone horribly wrong. Something's gone horribly wrong.
We've done an incredible amount of work in the last few years. Kind of shocking as compared to most artists.
I think for me, the most rewarding thing about the project was getting a chance to work with Lisa and talk to her about how she envisioned the world of the play, and to realize that there is so much that she's told in the previous stories. There's so much that she has to tell in the future stories, and that the character that I got to play and the story that we got to tell in this one recording was just a small piece of this very, very rich world that she is very adroit in getting to explain to people when that storytelling starts happening.
Just watching her sing and her facial expressions, because it really seemed like she was in the story.
And I love the music in Do You Believe in Magic?
Can't hold it in, hold it inside. Underworld madness. Can't hold it in, hold it inside. Underworld madness.
I like the stream of consciousness of it all, and really worked for things to ebb and flow in and out of music and dialogue while telling a cohesive story.
It's like so far removed from modern elements that it's very pure fantasy.
To hear just how all the sound effects came together with the background music, just the different sound renderings, I guess, how they all came together, it really played with the magic of what we were trying to create with that piece.
Instead of giving you that scar on your shoulder, I should have devoured your mother's soul and eliminated you. Stop your stalling and give me what I want. Tell me where it is. I know it's here somewhere. Don't try to deny. I followed you right here, so stop this talk and give me what I want.
I found this in the lair, rolled up around a piece of a tree, an overland species. I don't know why you bother telling her anything, like she'd lift a finger for you, Goetia.
For when Darkhaven comes, the dark witches reign. Oh, when Darkhaven comes, the dark witches reign.
By what you're wearing, I see you've read Aoede-Artist.
I'll say what I want to say. Don't care who hears me now. There's nothing.
God, she's got a lot of different talents, and like I said, her work ethic is above and beyond, and is of the kind of person that succeeds wildly. I see her with her work ethic that outpaces people who don't have any kind of challenges like that. She completely outpaces them.
The fact that she can just produce an entire story and the music is very inspiring.
It was amazing because Lisa is like a musical genius. She wrote the song and the play, and she put together the CD, and the music and play were amazing.
And it's pretty awe-inspiring, and it even keeps me on my toes, which anyone who knows me would find that hard to believe.
this was not something that was holding her back at all. It took me, quite a bit into our meeting to even recognize that anything was slowing her down. I think she stood up too fast and was like, oh, I need to actually be slower. And then she explained.
I mean, the fact that she just like is so prolific, I guess is the word. And just like bangs out these musicals.
Some of those hurdles which she got over, but they all kind of led us to what we're doing now, which to me is the most natural fit and the best position for her artistically that I think she's ever had. I think she's really onto some great things.
Black magic, what will break black magic?
Hocus pocus, witches brew. Tail of rat and eye of newt. Hair and heart of lost remainders too.
Spells, charms, chants, fires. Can feel it in my body.